Ongoing testing of the new 6.5G cell towers throughout the month. In other news, arrests, hospitalizations, and deaths are on the rise thanks to a new drug circulating throughout the United States and parts of Europe. Known among users as Inferno, the drug has effects similar to methamphetamine, ratcheting up the body's metabolism and inducing bursts of energy, delirium, and a spike in body temperature. This last effect, along with the drug's tendency to cause a permanent flushing in users' skin, is how the drug gets its name. Over the weekend, Boston police executed a raid on a lab producing Inferno in the long-abandoned Medfield State Hospital, killing 4 and arresting more than 20.
Hey YouTube, you already know who it is, and I think somebody's been stalking me. You would not believe what I found. But first, I just wanted to say thank you all for watching, and to ask you to please like and subscribe. Make sure that you ring that bell icon to get notifications on videos as soon as they come out. Now, on to the video. So over the last 2 nights, I haven't been sleeping well. I've had trouble getting to sleep, I've been waking up in the middle of the night, and I've been having almost constant nausea and headaches. What was even weirder about it, though, was that I found myself hallucinating. I kept hearing these sounds that sounded like voices, but they were too quiet to make out what they were saying. I mean, I thought I was just imagining it because I was waking up at 4 in the morning every night. But then my girlfriend brought over her dog, Raptor. Raptor's a Great Pyrenees, and he kept staring at the window right next to my bed. Now, Great Pyreneeses have great hearing, so we thought that maybe Raptor was hearing something we couldn't. So we moved the bed, and immediately we heard that little voice, the voice I thought I'd been hallucinating for the last few days. We hunted it down to a little crack in the bricks just outside the window where we found what looked like a little metal mushroom. It was a little speaker on a metal spike about an inch tall driven between the bricks, making all sorts of little noises. Unfortunately, before we could get a good picture of it, Raptor hit it with his paw and broke it, and we lost most of the pieces in the grass. Ever since we found and broke that little device, I've been feeling a lot better. I'm sleeping better, I'm eating better, and my headaches have all gone away. Now, I don't know what this little device was, but I think it was responsible for me getting sick. I've actually done a little research and found reports of experiments back in the 50s where patients were exposed to recordings of people giving them orders over and over and over again as they slept, as a form of brainwashing. Now, I don't know if that's what this speaker I found was for, but I'm sure it didn't show up outside my window by itself. That leads me to believe that someone put it there and that someone is targeting me. I don't know who and I don't know why, but all I know is after thoroughly checking the rest of my yard and all around the house, there are no more devices. I've put up cameras to catch anyone trying to plan more of them just in case. Hopefully this is the end of it, but if not, I'll be sure to bring you more updates. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Peace!
Over the weekend, that WBRD correspondent Gordon Rostov is in the hospital today. His husband tells us that Gordon's been experiencing migraines the last few days, and that on Sunday afternoon he suddenly experienced confusion and trouble speaking. An ambulance was called and he was rushed to the hospital. At this time, the doctors say Gordon is improving, but they suspect that he may have suffered a stroke or a seizure. We at WBRD wish Gordon a swift and full recovery and ask listeners to afford the Rostovs their privacy in this trying time.
Hey YouTube, it's me. I've got an update on the device I found outside my window last week. Since my last upload, there have been more and more of these little radio things popping up all around my house. You might be able to hear them now. You hear that? I've been finding them everywhere, in my yard, in the back of my pantry. I even found one inside my living room wall. I called the police about it and they took a few, but I haven't heard back from them yet. No matter how many I smash, more and more seem to keep coming up. My girlfriend said she's been finding them in her house too. I don't know what these things are doing to us, but I've been feeling like absolute trash for days now. My headache is back, my ears are ringing all the time, and
This message is a broadcast of the emergency alert system. This is not a test. Information vital to your safety will soon follow. This message is broadcast at the request of the Boston Police Department. A local area emergency has been declared for the city of Boston. The appearance of unidentified electronic devices has been reported throughout the affected area. These devices resemble speakers, radios, wires, and similar equipment, and intermittently produce a variety of sounds such as tones, voices, clicks, buzzes, and beeps. Exposure to sounds produced by these devices has been shown to cause moderate to severe illness in persons exposed. Symptoms include, but are not limited to, headache, migraines, photosensitivity, tinnitus, nausea, vomiting, insomnia, temporary or permanent deafness, temporary or permanent memory loss, confusion, and seizures. The source and purpose of these devices is unknown at this time, but they are believed to have been created in or deployed by an unknown, hostile organization or foreign government. At this time, all persons receiving this message should search their homes and property for any devices resembling speakers or producing uncharacteristic sounds. Any devices located should be destroyed immediately, and their remains turned over to the nearest law enforcement officer. Stay tuned to local news outlets to receive more information as it becomes available. Please remain calm. Your cooperation is appreciated.
From his room sometime late last night. Hospital staff have reported no suspicious activity at the time of Gordon's disappearance, but police have not yet ruled out the possibility of abduction. A $2,500 reward is being offered for any information leading to the safe recovery of Gordon Rostov and the arrest of any persons responsible for his disappearance. Moving on to more pressing news, the electronic devices that have pervaded Boston over the last week have begun appearing in neighboring towns, such as Chelsea, Winthrop, Somerville, and Brookline. The devices have been appearing seemingly at random in places such as people's homes and places of business, on the sides of roads, in vehicles, embedded in trees, and have even been seen hanging from streetlights and utility wires. While most are only a few inches tall, some devices as large as mailboxes have been discovered in less frequented places like woodlands and abandoned buildings. Hospitalizations attributed to the sounds produced by these devices have been spiking, with hospital rooms overwhelmed by persons exhibiting multiple neurological symptoms.
This message is a broadcast of the emergency alert system. This is not a test. Information vital to your safety will soon follow. This message is broadcast at the request of the Boston Police Department. This is a simple emergency message. Unidentified electronic devices have continued to appear throughout the state of Massachusetts. These devices resemble speakers, radios, wires, or similar equipment, and may periodically or continuously emit sounds such as tones, voices, clicks, buzzes, and beeps. Exposure to sounds produced by these devices has been shown to cause moderate to severe illness in persons exposed. Symptoms include, but are not limited to, headache, migraines, photosensitivity, tinnitus, nausea, vomiting, insomnia, temporary or permanent deafness, temporary or permanent memory loss, difficulty speaking, confusion, and seizures. Prolonged or cumulative exposure to sounds emitted by the devices has been linked to additional symptoms such as the appearance of painful boils on the skin, and painful sores on the skin or inside the mouth. Observation has shown that hearing protection such as earplugs are not an effective means of protection, as inaudible frequencies produced by the devices have been shown to affect human and animal nerve cells directly. At this time, all persons receiving this message should search their homes and property for any devices resembling speakers or producing uncharacteristic sounds. Any devices located should be destroyed immediately. Avoid all unnecessary exposure to sounds produced by the devices. Stay tuned to local news outlets to receive more information as it becomes available. Please remain calm. Your cooperation is appreciated.
This is is a live report. The whereabouts of WBRD correspondent Gordon Rostov have been confirmed. At around 1 o'clock this afternoon, Gordon was found attempting to enter the WBRD studio through a maintenance door. Several members of staff, including yours truly, went out to meet him and he wasn't in good shape. Aside from being stark naked, he looked like he'd been wandering around the woods for the last 2 weeks. He was covered in dirt and scratches and boils, with what looked like part of a radio jammed in his mouth. He was delirious or something, and when he saw us, he got violent. I managed to pin him to a wall until the cops and an ambulance showed up and carted him away. Here's the crazy thing, though. In the 10 minutes or so I had him pinned to the wall, he kept making these noises. Not like he was trying to speak, but there were these little black and gray things all over him, sort of like, huh? No, this is my show, I'll say what I want. Seriously? We'll be right back. What? You're gonna fire me for reporting the news?
This message is a broadcast of the emergency alert system. This is not a test. Information vital to your safety will soon follow. This message is broadcast at the request of the Boston Police Department. A civil danger warning has been declared for the city of Boston, effective immediately. An emergency situation is currently taking place in the affected area. Numerous electronic devices resembling speakers and other audio equipment have been reported throughout Massachusetts. These devices have been found to be instances of a parasitic life form that propagate themselves by exposing organic matter, including human and animal tissue, to anomalous audio frequencies and signals that directly affect cellular structures. Exposure to the signal is extremely hazardous and cannot be prevented through the use of sound-blocking devices such as earplugs or earmuffs. Exposure to the signal has been linked to numerous neurological symptoms requiring hospitalization, with extensive cumulative exposure causing speaker-like growths to appear on the body, especially on or around the mouth, as well as partial or total destruction of the brain. Persons who reach the later stages of exposure have been shown to continuously emit the hazardous frequencies from their bodies, and will actively seek to propagate the signal to others. There is currently no treatment for any level of exposure to the signal, and all persons who reach the late stages of exposure should be considered deceased, regardless of their prior identities. At this time, all persons receiving this message are advised to avoid all contact with All persons receiving this message are advised to seek out the devices, as well as persons in the late stages of exposure, and transport them to areas as far away as possible. Do not attempt to destroy the devices. There is no further cause for concern. Please remain calm. Your cooperation is appreciated.
Appearing throughout the Northeast as well as Washington, D.C. 24 members of the House of Representatives have been hospitalized after the speaker system in the Capitol building was found to be propagating the signals. The president will be delivering a speech from his suite at Walter Reed Hospital momentarily. The world will be listening. WBRD, stay tuned to this station.